Oops. All right, here we go. So, greetings from Tokyo, or not Tokyo. What am I saying? Greetings from not Tokyo. This is Daisuke, and I hope you are all doing very well. I am making this as a live video, but as soon as it's over, it'll be uploaded. Oh, Jared, hello. It's nice to see you. Oh, hello. McGorble J. Did I get that right? Hello, how are you doing? This is Daisuke. And I'm sorry for this impromptu. Cinema Dave Media, hello, my dear friend. I'm very sorry for this impromptu live video, but I'm actually on vacation. And I wasn't planning on doing this, but this is a little bit easier for me. And so I wanted to let you know that Criterion made a tweet saying or indicating that it will make its announcement regarding October 2019 releases. It'll make its announcement tomorrow, Wednesday, the 17th of July, 2019. Once again, Criterion announced that it will be making its announcement Wednesday. Paula, hello, my dear friend. It's so nice to see you. I hope you're well. So anyway, I was saying that Criterion made a tweet saying that it will make its announcement about its upcoming release plans. It'll make this announcement Wednesday, July 17th. And so I know we were all expecting Criterion to make its announcement on or around the 15th, and it's already past that. So, and I understand that there was indeed a lot of extra speculation and anticipation because we can expect Inyabong hit 2.0, nice to see you, my dear friend. I know there's a lot of expectation because we could reasonably expect Criterion to announce Spine 1000, among other wonderful possibilities, of course. So, but since Criterion didn't make its announcement recently, then I think people were a little bit maybe high on anticipation levels, etc. So I was looking for this, and I was actually on vacation, so I'm in my hotel. And wouldn't you know it, it's around lunchtime here, and I arrived here on, what was it, Sunday, and it's Monday, Sunday, Monday, now it's Tuesday. So I've already been to the local Barnes & Noble twice. And yeah, here's my Barnes & Noble bag. So it was a very nice time. And so maybe I'll try to make a video if I have time about my Barnes & Noble experience here. It was really great. Hello, the pretentious hack. Hello, it's nice to see you. And I also saw Carl as well. Carl, it's nice to see you too. I hope you're well, my friend. And so what was I saying? So yes, so while I was away, while I'm on my vacation here, this is my hotel room. And so while I'm on my vacation here, I was expecting that, oh, Reese, I didn't realize. Oh, hello, it's nice to see you. Sorry about that. I didn't realize. I didn't put two and two together. Please accept my apologies, Reese. What was I saying? So yes, so while I was on vacation, I was anticipating Criterion to have made its announcement about its future releases. And so I was planning to make a video in my hotel room, but I was waiting and waiting, but it didn't make its announcement. So I then heard through the grapevine that Criterion made a kind of a tweet apologizing that, oh, hello, Jonathan. Hello, Cooper Clever, 1972. Greetings. Hello. And I heard that Criterion will delay its announcement until July 17th, Wednesday. So let's wait for Wednesday. Let's wait for the announcement. If anyone hears anything, please let us know. You know, I'll try to look at the site as much as I can, but to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if I'll be able to look at the site immediately. So it's all, hopefully, maybe you might hear about it earlier than I do. Isaac, hello. And so, yes, as far as what Spine number 1000 might be, let's keep the speculation going. Let's, you know, we have another day, so it's we've waited this long, but let's wait a little bit longer. So, Asian movie enthusiast, greetings, and let's wait until tomorrow. So it's going to be really fun, fun time indeed. Now, there have been a lot of rumors flying about lately, and there has been a lot of information about what Spine 1000 is going to be. And so I think I already have an idea of what Spine 1000 is going to be. Yes, yes. And I've heard about certain rumors that have come up very recently. And so it's going to be very interesting indeed. But, oh, Caroline, it's nice to see you, my dear friend. Thank you very much for getting in touch with me. And so let's just enjoy while we can. And, I suppose I can say that I am incredibly, incredibly excited for what the possibilities are going to be. This is going to be very exciting indeed. So hopefully, if things turn out the way things might indeed turn out, then let us just enjoy the fun. And in the meantime, my friends, the Barnes & Noble sale is going on, so let's enjoy the Barnes & Noble sale. Oh, hello, Melinda, thank you so much. Greetings. It's nice to see you again, as always. I hope you're doing well. What is it? What was I going to say? Yes, so Barnes & Noble was also a lot of fun. As I said, I went there twice, and the Barnes & Noble selection was really a lot better than I had thought it was going to be. You know how sometimes people say that if you go later on in the month, maybe some of the selection is not as good as how it could have been at the beginning of the month, sort of like slim pickings or something like that. But I found the local Barnes & Noble here to be quite excellent, well stocked, and it was really great. I paid an extra, 15 cents, and I got my Barnes & Noble bag here, so I can use this as a kind of souvenir at home. And I was able to get I was able to get all of the recent releases that I was looking for. And so it was really nice to visit. And the service was really nice, and the atmosphere was very pleasant, and it was rather crowded. I was actually very surprised and pleasantly surprised and happy to note that it was very crowded when I was there. There were quite a number of people in the music and DVD department that's always tucked away in the back there. And there are a lot of people in the book section as well. So it was really, really wonderful to see. I was very, very happy to see that. And so hopefully, I don't know if I'll have time to go again, so the only time I think I'll be able to go one more time will be today. So today is Tuesday, so hopefully they'll have in Klute and the Baker's Wife, I think. So I'm very much looking forward to getting those if they're in. So oh yes, actually, just to be clear, I'm not in Tokyo. I'm in Hawaii on vacation with my family. So it's my my annual, I wish it were weekly, but it's my annual family summer holiday. So yes, so there's no Barnes & Noble in Tokyo, unfortunately, but there is a Barnes & Noble near the hotel. Yes. So yes, I'm getting some comments of people maybe thinking that there's a Barnes & Noble in Tokyo, but there isn't a Barnes & Noble in Tokyo, my friends. I'm out of Japan. I'm currently on vacation. So, and so yes, so I'll be going there again, and hopefully there will be some interesting tidbits, maybe some, as I said, I'm looking for Klute and the Baker's Wife. And so if that's the case, then I should be okay with Criterions. You know, there are also other titles there. Like I saw some great Arrow titles, and I also saw some British mini-series, television series, box sets, etc. But those were being offered at full price. So even with a little bit of a discount that's added on if you're a member or Barnes & Noble Club member, I suppose. It's still a little bit expensive, so I won't be getting anything other than was it Clute and the Baker's Wife if they have it. Incidentally, I saw that they also had a box of Ingmar Bergman's Cinema, 50% off. So it looks lovely, and they also have a lot of box sets of they had the BRD trilogy, which just came in. They have a lot of Blue Velvets, which are there. They had a lot of Eclipse sets, which are great. They had a lot of let's see. I saw Picnic at Hanging Rock with the book. I think that is no longer being made available. So if you can find Picnic at Hanging Rock with the book, then you should pick it up, because I think those are being discontinued, I think. So, but I saw one of those there as well. And so the selection was really quite good. I was very impressed with the selection at this local Barnes & Noble. It was really lovely. So very, very happy to be, very happy to have been able to go there, and very fortunate. And it's always nice to see Criterions in the flesh. When I'm in Japan, it's not impossible, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to go and try to look at one of the Blu-rays before purchasing it. So, and plus also there are shipping, handling costs that are added on. So it's always nice to be able to purchase a Blu-ray without necessarily have to worry about shipping and any other possible risks that might be involved with mailing something from overseas to Japan. So it's always nice to do that. It's nice to inspect the box to make sure it's in good condition and all that. So it's always nice to take a look at that. And very exciting indeed. Very, very exciting. I'm very happy to have been able to go to the Barnes & Noble. And also I was able to get a couple books as well that I was really much looking for. It was nice to be able to browse around there. It is possible to get English books in Tokyo, but the selection is somewhat limited, and you can always order them through the internet, of course, but it's always nice to be able to sit there, stand there and browse. And so I was able to pick up a couple books, not too many, because it gets it makes the luggage a little bit heavy, but yes. Oh, and yes, just to let you know about the plane ride. The plane ride here to Honolulu was very pleasant, but it was a little bit tough for me to watch movies because it was a night flight, and so I was very sleepy, and I couldn't really watch a lot of things that I wanted to watch. I started to watch, what was it? Spider-Man. Into the Spider-Verse, right? So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I started to watch that, and it was really a lot of fun, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish it because it was a little bit hard for me to stay awake. Not because of the film, mind you, but it was just my own sleepiness was setting in. So I'll try to watch it again when I maybe go back. Or actually, it was being offered, I think, at the Barnes & Noble for a discount, so maybe I'll get the Blu-ray. My son is in particular into Spider-Man these days, and so that should be very exciting indeed. What else was there? Oh yes, and the plane also, you could watch Bohemian Rhapsody, but I wasn't able to watch that. I was thinking about watching, Tomb Raider. I don't know, I was like, well, maybe I should watch Tomb Raider, but at the end I decided against it. So, and what else? Yeah, it was a lot of memorable films, so memorable that I can't even remember any of them. So, oh yes, Venom, I suppose, but again, it wasn't possible for me to watch because I was feeling sleepiness, the onset of sleepiness. So unfortunately, it was a little bit too much for me to be able to stay awake. I would have loved to have been able to take advantage of it more, but unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. So. So anyway, there's that, my friends. So with that, let me slowly wind down because I do want to get to the Barnes & Noble one more time. And yes, oh, Cineflect, my dear friend, I hope you're doing well. It's almost time for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Isn't that right? Gosh, I wish I could have timed my trip so that I could have gone to a screening of one or to the theater to watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when it was opening here in the U.S. I don't think it's opened here yet, right? So, oh gosh, it's opening Saturday. Is that right? Is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood opening Saturday? Is that across the country? Because if that's the case, I might be able to watch it. Oh, this might be an interesting development. Opens next week. It opens next week. So it's not, so maybe the show that you're talking about is maybe a premiere or maybe it's a special screening. If so, then comes out July 26th. Thank you, Jared. Okay, so that's not going to work out for me in my schedule, unfortunately. So, oh gosh, I wish I could have planned it a little bit better, but oh well, c'est la vie. We can't have, what is it? You can't always get what you want. So, but oh well. But I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it, my dear friend. Oh gosh, and the screening is going to be at the Cinerama Dome, according to Cineflix. So you got to let us know what your experience is like. So Cineflix, you're going to make a video about that, right? If so, please let us know. And I, for one, would love to watch your reactions to that. And that, and by the way, yes, I took ANA, so All Nippon Airways there, and so what is it? Yes, so please let us know about that video, Cineflect. I'd love to take a look at that. That would be so cool. Wow, that's one of the great. Oh gosh, I can't wait to do this. And you know what? I was thinking, Cineflect, maybe you might be able to have more comments about this than I. But, you know, there's this thing about Tarantino's going to do 10 films and then he's going to retire from filmmaking. He's going to focus on other artistic endeavors. Okay, so I think that's a really fine, that's a fine kind of work ethic to have. And, oh, Melinda, thank you so much. My dear friend, much love to you, and let's talk again soon. I'm going to have more Laserdiscs videos, so you are a great inspiration, and much love to you, my dear friend. But yeah, so going back to Tarantino, you know, he said that he's going to be making 10 films and then that's it, as far as his filmmaking career goes. So I was wondering to Cineflect and to others who are Tarantino enthusiasts, I was wondering how you feel about that. You know, I was thinking back and I was thinking, you know, which filmmakers have had 10 films in their filmography and then that's it. So I haven't gone back and counted. Is David Lynch? David Lynch, he has 10 films. Do I have that count correct? I'm talking about his filmography, not talking about his short films or his TV work. But yeah, so like I always wondered why 10. You know, is 10 just a nice workable number to use for Tarantino, or is he relying on a particular filmmaker when he makes that sort of announcement? And so if the how should I put it? If there is some maybe inspiration that Tarantino has, then I think that would be very interesting. But I don't know. I'm not sure about it. You know, and Cineflect, you just made the comment about Miyazaki and about how many times he sort of announced that he would retire, etc. You know, I like, it's not to. I don't. I mean, it's. I don't have the artistic sentiment, so I don't know what it's like to think. You know, like if someone has the inspiration to want to create something, then I can understand wanting to create something, and I can probably also understand this idea that if one is devoting a lot of time and effort into a particular work, at the end of the work, one is probably feeling very tired and exhausted, and maybe, in some respects, maybe a little bit sick and tired of certain aspects of filmmaking. Who knows? That might make one want to feel like one wants to, let's say, retire or something like that, or maybe to put in less of a cynical spin on it. Maybe the idea is one puts one's all into a particular work, and after that, that's it. So, but I'm very curious about Tarantino because he has announced this way ahead of time, and so he seems to suggest that for a filmmaker, usually the idea is, at least what he's suggesting, is after 10, the quality of the output tends to diminish, or the potential is there for it to diminish. So, so I guess that's one of the situations there. But, you know, I don't think that, that is necessarily the case. And I don't see any signs of Tarantino's genius dwindling or diminishing. I see his work going in a different direction, but I think that's a different kind of conversation. So I'm always curious. I'm always curious, why 10? What is it about 10, the magic number 10, that he seems to be mentioning? Other than it feels like a nice, neat, even number. But has there been any kind of a specific filmmaker that has stopped at only 10 and then that's it, that he's thinking about? So that would be very interesting. Also, I think that it's a very great sort of negotiating tool that he has, because it's like, what producer would refuse Tarantino's last film, you know? So it's almost like he is assuring himself that he will have carte blanche, no matter, I mean, hopefully his films will be successful, but no matter how much of a failure his films might be, even so, he'll be basically allowing himself carte blanche, because I think a producer would be foolish not to allow Tarantino to do whatever he wants for his quote-unquote final film, if you know what I mean. So I think it's a very clever way of maneuvering his sort of negotiations with any kinds of producers that he might have to deal with. So I think it's a really great, thing that he's doing in terms of his own artistic prowess, as well as trying to secure as much freedom as possible. I mean, I can assume that he probably enjoys a lot of freedom, relatively speaking, anyway, but perhaps this is something that he can enjoy further, who knows. But it's a very smart move, I think. But also in terms of being an artist, I really believe him, and I think it's really worthwhile to think about. But and also I do understand that there is a difference between him saying he wants to produce films and also him saying that he wants to direct films. So I think what he's talking about in terms of his 10 film limit is the films that he is directing. And so if he's involved with Star Trek, it would be interesting to see him direct a Star Trek film, of course, but if it's a producing capacity, then that probably, I understand that won't fall within the 10 count. So but who knows, that might change. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert. So and yeah, so that's all good. So anyway, my dear friends, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of your support and just consideration. And again, I apologize because I haven't been responding to comments as much as I would like to, because I've been away. So yes. So Caroline says, yes. Caroline just made a comment about Tarantino, but it just missed, so I apologize. And Caroline, thank you so much, by the way. Man, I'm so happy you reached out to me. I'm so happy. Thank you so much. Let's stay in touch. And let's go from there, my dear friend. I hope you're doing well. Really, I was so happy. And gosh, what else? Let me wind this down in a couple minutes, and we'll go from there. So, and I don't usually talk about James Bond, but there is some news about James Bond. I don't know if I want to even go there, but it was a little bit surprising to me. I don't think I have any. I'm a big James Bond film fan, or 007 film fan, I should say. And so I was, how should I put it? I'm intrigued, but I'm not quite sure what's going to happen yet with the film. It does feel, I think it's going to be Daniel Craig's last outing as Bond, so they might be doing something very special and out of the ordinary, or at least relative to how the series has progressed so far. I'll be perfectly honest. I'm a huge Bond fan, and one of my favorite films in the series ever is Casino Royale. I love Casino Royale. I love On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I love From Russia with Love. I even love Diamonds Are Forever and The Man with the Golden Gun and Octopussy and View to a Kill. I love A View to a Kill. That was the first James Bond film I saw as a kid, A View to a Kill. And to this day, I just get chills whenever I think about car washes. Oh gosh, that's a scary thing, car washes. So that film traumatized me with respect to car washes. And I love Christopher Walken in that role. When he's in San Francisco and he does that really weird choice with the gun, and as he says, intuitive improvisation is the secret of genius, and he's just pointing the gun at his head. That's just so over the top, and it's that really freaked me out as a kid. And so, A View to a Kill. I know it's not the most popular Bond film in the world, but it really has a special place in my heart because it was the first one I ever saw. And I also remember that poster they had with Roger Moore standing on one end and Grace Jones standing on the other, and they're standing toe to toe and are back to back, and the tagline was, "Has James Bond finally met his match?" And I remember that, and that was so stunning to me, really, really stunning, and that made the film all the more just wonderful to watch. But and I love Daniel Craig's Casino Royale. But to be perfectly honest, they kind of are. Maybe I kind of slowly, I start to lose a little bit of interest as the series progressed. So I liked Quantum of Solace, but it was kind of so-so. And I know that Skyfall was very popular, but I have a couple of issues with that film. And Spectre, I have a lot of issues with Spectre. So in fact, I think it would be nice to get a kind of revitalization into the current series, if that's indeed where they're going, if they're not having a completely new direction for it, because I think Daniel Craig is still going to be in the next one. So, and I have a great admiration for Daniel Craig's James Bond, his performance. But I guess my general issue with the way the films have progressed is that James Bond has suddenly become the center of the universe in all of the films. In Casino Royale, it was great because it was so obvious that he was one little component in this huge in this huge universe, right? He was just part of a team, and he was just an agent, and that was the essence of the Fleming novels, was that he was on a mission, and that was it. And his acts, while they were very heroic, they were perhaps in the grand scheme of things probably inconsequential. But as the series progressed, he slowly becomes the center of the universe until Spectre, and there are these plot elements for Spectre, which actually I still to this day have no idea how they passed the screenwriting stage. If I saw this and I think, are you really this is right, the whole thing with Oberhauser and all that. So I've always found that to be really tough to get around. I always try to suspend my disbelief with that film, but that's the one that really kind of lost. I kind of just was a little bit disappointed with that, and I just felt that it was they kind of descended into Bond becomes the center of the universe. And this pattern was also in the Sean Connery films. You know, the early Sean Connery films, Dr. No, From Russia with Love, even Goldfinger, and he was on a mission. But slowly but surely, he would always get the big ones. You know, this is the big one, 007, as M would say, for I think Thunderball and I think You Only Live Twice as well. So and then he suddenly became this famous guy, so that everyone knew who James Bond was, or everyone who knew 007 was, and he was no longer a secret agent. He was just an agent. The word secret became meaningless. But I love those films where he is a secret agent. He is a nobody, and he's just doing his duty. And so that's the case with the early Connery films, and that was also the case with Casino Royale, very much so. And so so this is all to say that I think that it'll be really interesting to see what happens with the new Bond film. Although it's, I must admit, I'm not quite sure. I don't think there's enough information yet to. I know that there was an announcement made, and I know certain announcements were made about this new upcoming Bond film, but I don't think, to me, there's not enough information yet. Although it does remind me, do you remember Die Another Day? There's a thing about Die Another Day, and it was actually a very successful film financially. And I think it was Michael G. Wilson who was reported to say around that time, and please forgive me if I get the details wrong, but Michael G. Wilson was saying that because of the popularity of the film Die Another Day, he was thinking that maybe this might be an opportunity to have Jinx. Do you remember the character Jinx, the Halle Berry character? Maybe we can have her own spin-off series. And then we can have her own Jinx series, etc. So, and I thought at the time that was a really interesting idea, because I thought Jinx was, and I think she's a really nice character. In Halle Berry, I thought maybe it was just one film, and she wasn't in all of the film Die Another Day. So perhaps had she been allowed to explore the character in maybe another film or a series of films, I think it could have become a really interesting character to follow, just based off of how interesting I thought it was portrayed in Die Another Day. I mean, I understand the film is maybe considered maybe a weaker film in the James Bond series. I understand that, but I think that her performance was really, really interesting, and it had a lot of potential, I think. But this recent announcement, you know, it has a similar kind of a feeling to it. You know, I don't know if it's like a spin-off or if it's trying to do something like a spin-off within the series or something to that effect. There was also, if you recall, in one of the documentaries, for the making of, I think, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, there was this idea of, because On Her Majesty's Secret Service was the first time that the producers of the Bond films were having to deal with the issue of how are they going to deal with a new actor for James Bond. And so I think at the time someone had mentioned, now I forget exactly where it was, maybe it was in one of the commentaries, but someone had mentioned the possibility of having this whole setup be that it was a new person who would adopt the persona of James Bond or 007 or whatever it was in order to further this whole thing, you know, because it's the idea of a person comes in and adopts the persona of James Bond or 007 in order to then carry out the missions of Her Majesty's government. So this current announcement also has vibes of that. So it feels like maybe it's like taking the idea of, you know, this idea of James Bond or 007, although I think the announcement here is focusing primarily on 007 rather than the name James Bond. I understand the distinction, but it does remind me a lot of what some considerations might have taken place with respect to the early production meetings or the early creative processes with respect to On Her Majesty's Secret Service as well. So it does have, it has a kind of spin-off ring that we heard with respect to Die Another Day, and it does have this, you know, adopting the 007 moniker thing that I remember hearing with respect to On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So there is a little bit of stuff there, and so I I don't think that this kind of announcement is completely out of the blue and it's completely foreign to the world of James Bond in terms of the deep production processes. So I'm not necessarily against it. So as I say, I'm looking forward to seeing what it is they have to offer, yeah. So hopefully, I just hope that they return to some kind of creative work that we saw with a film like Casino Royale, because I thought Casino Royale was one of the most creative Bond films in the franchise, and I thought it was just really great to see, and I was looking forward so much to what the whole potential was for the new Bond series. But so yeah, so this new news is very interesting, but I'm just gonna wait to see what it is. Yeah, because there's too little information at the moment. So who knows? It probably is going to be. It could be very interesting with the details that they are going to announce, or it could maybe be not so interesting from my point of view, depending on the details. But we shall see. We shall see indeed. So anyway, my friends, sorry to keep you waiting, and I know a lot of people have been talking about James Bond films. So you know, yeah. So yeah, I love James Bond films. I really should watch them again. Maybe I should do a series on each of the Bond films if I have time. I really love them. You know, you expect me to talk, right? Right, and then, no, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. You know, that's the famous one. But you know, there is one moment in Goldfinger where we actually hear Gert Vroeg's actual voice. I don't know if you know that point in the film. I know some Bond experts probably know that already, but you know, his voice was dubbed for 99% of the film, but there's one place in the film where actually his voice is not dubbed and you can actually hear his actual voice. It's in the film. I know for the trailer, you can hear, I think, some parts of the lines of dialogue that he recites with his own voice that was later dubbed for the final film release. But for the final film release, there's actually one place, just for those who can, please check it out. So, you know, and what was it? And Dr. No, let's see. Someone asked, you know, what happened? And then Sean Connery says, you know, oh, I think they're on their way to a funeral or something like that. It's not James Bond, I know, but I'm really big on Sean Connery and the Untouchables, and I actually did an episode of Criterion Now podcast. I was a guest on that, and so I was yeah, I was very I had the pleasure of doing a Connery impression or impersonation there, and so. I don't know if you know the Untouchables, but there's a line there where Malone and Elliot Ness are talking, and you know, Elliot Ness is saying, you know, I want to get Capone, I don't know how to get him, and then Malone says, right, so you want to get Capone? Here's how to get him. He pulls a knife, you pull a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue. That's the Chicago way, and that's how to get Capone. That's right. So that I love that line. You know, that's a great line. You know, and he's like, "Welcome to Chicago," right? Just what's his name? Stone, George Stone. What's your real name? And then that is my real name. Nah, what was it before you changed it? I love that. Right. I love that. And I love that. Gosh, and I love that he says, you know. Bookkeeper. It's such a great movie. Oh gosh, maybe if they have it on a discount at the Barnes & Noble, I should get that, because I have that on DVD, but I don't have it on Blu-ray. So The Untouchables. Oh man, I really want to get that. Gosh, here under the lesson. Oh gosh. That's a great. Oh gosh, Sean Connery in The Untouchables. That's one of the great performances. Gosh. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I've lost my train of thought because I've just remembered the Untouchables. I'm so sorry about this. This tends to happen to me a lot. So, oh gosh, what was that great line? You're nothing but a lot of talking a badge. You're nothing but a lot of talking. I have no idea what he said. I have no idea what he said for the longest time until I saw what I saw, and then I realized what he said. You got nothing. You ain't got the book. You got nothing. Oh gosh, I love that so much. All right, and so anyway, my friends, sorry about this, and let me just leave you, and please be well, and please enjoy the time, and let's do. Oh yes, let's do one more. So yes, just to keep it connected with the Criterion Collection, right? Welcome to the Rock. All right. So my dear friends, thank you very much for your support and love and enthusiasm for cinema as always. I'm very sorry to have bothered you like this. I didn't mean to do this with an impromptu. Video, but let's enjoy this. We have just another day until Spine 1000 and other Criterion announcements, and so let's enjoy this time. And remember, it's not just Spine 1000. We have a lot of other titles to look forward to, I hope. So let's see what Criterion has up its sleeve. Remember, my friends, Criterion is a great label. It'll release a lot of great titles. Hopefully they'll release titles by Sidney Lumet, because Sidney Lumet is a great director. All right, so my dear friends, so thank you very much, and I hope you are happy and healthy and well. And please be in touch, and thank you very much. And I hope you have a great, great rest of your day. So until we meet again, my friends, cheers and be well. Bye-bye. Oh, The Wicker Man. Oh my goodness, Caroline. Oh, The Wicker Man. I love The Wicker Man. Um, I love The Wicker Man so much that I'll just unplug my microphone. I love Wicker Man so much. I even love the Nicolas Cage remake. Not as much as the original, but I do like I like the remake as well, because I kind of see what they're trying to go for, but yeah. Oh man, The Wicker Man. That would be so great on Criterion. Oh man. Oh gosh, that would be great. They're in my eyes. They're in my eyes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. How did it get burned? How did it get burned? I can't do a Nicolas Cage. I wish I could do a better Nicolas Cage, but I can't do one. I should work on my Nicolas Cage. Um, uh, Gosh, I can't do a Nicolas Cage in Wild at Heart, but I can do this from Wild at Heart as I'm closing down. Do you remember this line from Wild at Heart? It's not Nicolas Cage, but I'm making my lunch. Yeah, all right, so there we go. Speaking of lunch, it's lunchtime here, so I'm going to be heading off soon. So anyway, my dear friends, thank you so much. Thank you to all my friends from way back, and also all my friends who I've just met. It's so nice to talk with you live. It's great, and thank you very much, and please be well, and talk to you again very soon. Cheers. Bye-bye. Okay. Oh, now this is my phone. I pushed the button, but I can't. See, this happened to me in the last one. I tried to push the button and it won't turn off. It says I should push this button, but oh, have a great day, everyone. Skywalking, thank you very much. And don't worry, this will get uploaded so you can watch the video later. As soon as it's uploaded. Again, this was one of those things where if I said something that was on a hot mic and I were running for public office, this could become a political scandal, Oh man, he was on a hot mic and he said such and such, so I don't want to do that. Let's see. All right, here we go. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.